Afternoon, welcome to Thursday, 10th of February. Now, if you watched last week's vlog, which I only uploaded yesterday, so it was too late to put this into last week's vlog, I showed you my little invention to avoid issues filling the water tank. Well, whilst my brain was ticking over doing all what I was doing with the little alarm device, I came up with something else that I thought would be very beneficial, and it's come today from the Smiley Face Company. I'm going to tilt you down and show you what I've bought. Now, I haven't set up any background lights, so I'm hoping that the camera's going to catch this okay. Let me just show you what I've got in this great big packet. Can you see that? I just thought, when I was doing what I was doing last week, filling the water tank, how sensible would it be to have one of them, a simple on and off, in my water hose at the point of where the water actually enters the tank. Now, you can't get these wrong once they're in the hose. If the two sides are in line with the hose, then your tap is open, and obviously if it's across the hose, then your water is turned off. Let me show you how I'm going to fit this into the hose, and then you'll see my thinking of why this is a good idea. Now, I bought a pack of two simply because it was only a matter of a few pence dearer to buy two than it was to buy one. And one of my friends on the pontoon next to me, I was talking to him yesterday, and he says, well, that's a cracking good idea. So I think he's going to buy the other one. How much did it cost? £4. So when you add this to the price of my little invention, what's it all cost me? A tenner. And it's going to make life so much easier. Let's go and get this fitted in the hose, and then I'll just show you a demo of how it's going to look when I use it. Right, you've joined me on the stern deck. We've got a jug of boiling water and a tap and a pair of scissors. So I'm just going to cut the hose. Sounds a bit drastic, doesn't it? It doesn't have to be in this particular place, but I want it close to where I'm going to be filling. And then I'm going to stick both ends of the hose in this boiling water. Give it a few minutes just to soften the ends. So I'll come back to you in a second. Now, obviously be careful when you're doing this because the water is boiling hot. I've done it so it softens the end of the hose because I want this just to push on. I'm not going to use Jubilee clips because I just don't want to bulk up my hose system. Now that is pushed on, as you can see, nice and tight. It doesn't want to go on top of the collar, it doesn't need to. It's gone past the seal, and as it cools, it will obviously shrink onto the little valve that I'm putting in. Same on this end. I don't know if you can just see what I'm on with. I'm sure you can. There's not enough pressure in the hose to blow these apart and fill in the tank. And you see, if you've got Jubilee clips, it just makes it a little bit more cumbersome. Sorry, we've got an helicopter above. If, however, you feel that you need to, then obviously go ahead and put clips on there. But that will now shrink tight onto that. I'm now going to take you to the bow and just show you how I envisage it working when I next come to fill the tank. But there you go, look. How simple is that? So now you see, if those two wings are in line, the hose tap is turned on. And if you turn it that way, they're going across. You've now turned your water off. And there it is. Now, I'm not filling the tank today because I only did it a couple of days ago as part of what I was doing on the test for this little alarm. But as you can see, my thinking was, I've got an on-off button on the side of the alarm. Now, when this goes off, if I'm having a coffee on board the boat, my thinking is I'm just going to put it down here so you can see a little bit better. Hopefully. Can you see that better down there? Yeah, my thinking is that I can open the bow door, lean over, turn the alarm off and simply turn off the water. I haven't got to run to the end of the pontoon to the tap instantly. I can do that at my leisure. And the reason I thought that would be a good idea is because I'm only allowing 1 inch below the surface of the tank top for the hose to fill up to before this little alarm goes off. And I don't want to be toddling off down to the tap, because all the time I'm spending going down there, more water's going in, and I need to be sure that I've kept this level as I wanted it. So a nice easy to operate, look, nice and smooth, on and off. It makes you wonder why not everybody's got one of these built in. Hope you thought that was a good little add-on to my water filling system, and again, it's all part of never flooding my tank again. Good morning and welcome to a windy Wednesday. It's the 16th of February and we had quite a windy old night with the storms that are going across the UK at the moment. Didn't really affect Freedom too much. There wasn't a great deal of movement with her, although I have been talking to 1 or 2 narrowboat owners who said they got rocked to sleep last night. Again, I'm going to try and keep this a short video, but just a quick update. I'm going to try and cut in a little short clip of my inspection hatch, which I'm pleased to say now for the last 4 days, and I check it every morning at 7 o'clock, has been absolutely bone dry. Now this is the inspection hatch at the stern of the boat where the water alarm went off 3 weeks ago and there was water in there. So I'm going to cut that in now, and hopefully I am anyway. Let's see how that goes. Right, so you can see, well hopefully you can see, that was nice and dry. So my plan today is to reinstall the water sensor that originally set off, you know, when there was water in there last 3 weeks ago. But what I'm going to do this time, instead of installing it flat on the floor, because it's got sensor pads on the end, I am going to tip it on its side and fix it to the bulkhead wall. So it's going to be on the engine to electric cupboard bulkhead wall. Now I'm going to mount it as I did before, just using blue tack. It holds it perfectly fine, it's got no weight in it. I'm going to mount it so it's just a millimetre or 2 off the base plate, just in case when I put the heavy batteries on the back in the next couple of weeks there is any water left under the floor. No more condensation thoughts, and I always had a doubt that it was condensation, but I went along with that because everybody was telling me that we all suffer condensation. And I've been taking my siders out of that hatch all over winter and there was never no water in there then. So yeah, I'm going to mount it so that if there is any surplus under the boat at any time, it's got to be at least 1 to 2 mil, which isn't a lot, but above that then I'd need to know about it, so the alarm will then obviously go off and I can put everything back in the electric cupboard. The bulkhead panel in the bedroom, which I couldn't get off, I persevered. I got up the other morning and I thought, I've just got to know whether I was right in thinking it was the filler pipe that was causing this issue on the top of the water tank, or whether it was a joint in the water pipe, the cold water system, that was behind that bulkhead that I couldn't even get to. So I persevered. I've taken the bulkhead panel out. Let me show you that. There we go. So as you can see now, that's fitted up against the engine room to electric cupboard bulkhead, and there's just a very slight gap underneath the end, and you can see them 4 little slits on the side. They're little electronic sensor plates. Well, there's an identical pair on the very end, so facing downwards. If I get any more water come in there, at least it'll let me know. I'm sorry for the flicking, but that's my torch. But at least you can see it's in place, nice and dry. So I'm going to put all the bits of ballast that's here back in the hole, leaving enough room to store a bit of cider, and I can put everything back in the electric cupboard, knowing that if I get any more water, that little alarm will tell me. Welcome to Sunday the 13th of February, and welcome to the bomb site. I got up this morning and I thought, you know, I'm not going to get scuttled by this bulkhead panel, So I've took my time. I've removed the carpeting that's glued to it. I've removed all the wood that I can get to. And I don't actually think, even if I put my torch on, I'll have a go just to show you. It's a bit limited on space under here. But there, you can just see my finger. Just try to get into view. It's a bit difficult. Where I'm pointing, I know the camera's struggling, there's a Jubilee clip at the bottom of the filler pipe. And what I thought was going to be a copper tube is actually what looks like, well, it's plastic coated, it could be copper on the inside I suppose. But it's joining to the tank. It's hard to get an angle on this. With a Jubilee clip which needs tightening. Now, in the process of doing all that, I've also took out the lagging that was been putting around this water pipe. It's very similar to this kind of lagging, which is basically like a rock wall in a bag. And where the water's been running down the side of the tank from that filler, it's soaked it. So I'm now going to dry the floor with my soak-up pads. And then tomorrow I'm going to nip to a B&Q type store, get some of them foam wrap round insulator, so it's not on the floor getting wet through. I'm going to dry this floor off, and then on my days off, which is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, I'm going to put it all back together. But for now, I'm going to just dry it out, and as you can see, I've already got the pads down there. There's no signs of any leaks at the moment on any of the joints, which is great news. But the lagging that was down here, pushed into this gap around this pipe, was absolutely drenched. So it's no good having wet lagging. All this here now is lovely and dry. It's up on the plate level of the tank. I can actually feel it's warm. So that's obviously from the heat from the boat. But yeah. So yeah, it looks a bit of a mess. That bag there is full of soaking wet. I don't know if I can just show you. Have a look here, look. Look at this. See, it's this. Look at that. No wonder I was getting water going to the back of the boat. So I'm just going to dry everything where the tap is down there. You can just see the red tap, just to make sure there's no leaks on that end. But I've checked this grey pipe all the way back down here into the let me just see if I can spin you around. There's the joint here, look. That was the joint that I was worrying that I wouldn't be able to see. This one here is above floor level because that's the central heating. This one below, it's got a bit of damp around it, but I do think that's just the condensation off the wet lagging. But I'm going to dry it, and then I'll check it over the next couple of days while the air gets in there to dry everything out. And I'll put that new bit of insulation around the pipe, and hopefully job's a good one. There you go. So I was right. The only thing I got wrong is that the actual filler tube, I thought, pushed up inside and down inside the upper and lower outlets on the tank and the floor of the well deck. Actually, it's the other way round. It fits around the nozzle that comes down and the nozzle that comes off the top of the tank. And looking at the bottom Jubilee clip that was solid, I sprayed that with some penetrating oil, and I got another 2.5 turns out of it. So my original thinking to a degree was definitely right. I believe that the water in that tube was just running behind the outer side of the filler neck on the tank, onto the tank top and away, because that Jubilee clip, for whatever reason, had never been properly tightened up. So at some point today, I'm not going to video it, but I am going to nip to the chandlery and see if they do the same diameter pipe. And if they do, I'm going to get a new bit and some silicone, and I'm going to put a smear of silicone around the upper and the lower, fit the new pipe with some new Jubilees, just because at the moment the bulkhead walls are down. I'm going to leave them removed for a week. I've got the dehumidifier going at the moment. It's all being powered by the solar, so it's not costing me a lot of money at all to run it. I was using my soak-up pads, but I found that I'm really having to struggle to wring any water off the floor now in the bow area where the tank is, because most of what was under the tank had seeped slowly towards the pads, and they've done their job. So what I do now, I run the heater in the bedroom with the door shut for a couple of hours to get the temperature really hot, and then I keep my dehumidifier on all night, and then it's on shoreline. But in the daytime, shoreline's disconnected, so the dehumidifier is running from solely off the solar. So it's not costing a lot, but I just wanted to get everywhere dry. My original plan was to put everything back today, but then I'm thinking, well, what's the rush? There's no urgency. You know, my bedroom looks like a bomb's hit it, so it may as well stay like that for another week. Then at least when I put the bulkhead panels back and the carpet all back in place, I know it's dry. So yeah, and we've got to show you, Misty's been learning her line, so I'm going to show you a new little section that we're going to add, not every week, but occasionally, and I want you to get involved. Really do want you to get involved. We need a bit of input from our subscribers, and that's you. So I'm going to go and have a coffee, and then I'm going to go and have a look at that filler pipe. Now, just to remember, just before I go and sort the see if I can replace the filler pipe, when I ordered, if you watched last week's vlog, you'll have seen that little electronic device I'm now going to use to monitor water going in the tank. Well, when I ordered it from the Smiley Face company, when they confirmed that the order had been placed, I realised that the one I'd ordered wasn't going to come in time to do the vlog. So I ordered another one, which came the following day, so I could get it in last week's vlog. And this one's just arrived. So what I'm going to do, you've seen it exactly what it looks like. It's exactly the same as the other one. Just a cable with a little sensor on, box. I've bought a Duracell battery because in our pound shop they're only £2. That's cost £5.70, so that's £7.70. I'm going to install this one in the bathroom cupboard where the water pump and the clarifier tank is. And I'm going to mount the plate on the floor so it's closer to the water tank where all the pipe joints are, but the water pump will be sitting maybe 5 or 6 inches before it, but the boat will be to tilt. So if the water pump develops a leak in the future, this will pick it up. And if my water tank joints, any of them decide to weep in the future, likewise. Now, I'm not going to secure this in the cupboard. I'm just going to put the cable through, place it loose so that the alarm will go off, and it's just easy for me to get at to put the batteries in. So again, I'll quickly just show you when I'm in the bathroom best I can, but you'll get the idea. And you know, these sort of things will take a lot of pressure off you, because when it's out of sight you can't see these joints and pipes, but having one of these in its location gives you the peace of mind of knowing if there was a leak or a weep on a pipe, you'll know about it. Let's go and get it fitted. Right, now we're in the bathroom. I've removed the worktop just to show you. As you can see, if you look down this is the left hand side of the water tank. There is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can actually see 15 pipe joints. I know it's not easy to see with this torch, but there's 15 pipe joints there. So if you look right to the bottom, you can see where there's a screw into the floor with a bracket that holds the tank in position. That's exactly where I'm going to mount the little water sensor. But then I'm going to bring the alarm itself so it's inside this cupboard here at the back. And behind here, this is where all the water pump is. In fact, it's there, look, behind this box. So I'm going to mount it so any water that runs from the box backwards, or any drips from them joints there, hopefully that little water sensor will pick it up and set off the alarm. So I'm going to install it and I'll just show you it in place. And I just think you could just about, see how I can zoom it in, look. This is just a little bit of blue tack holding that down to the floor, and it's close enough to all these pipes, hopefully, that if there's any leaks in the future or the water pump leaks, the alarm that's inside the cupboard will definitely sound. Another job done. Less than a tenner, peace of mind. Well, that's finally sorted the filler neck on the water tank. The bottom Jubilee clip was definitely seized up. I have given it a really good spraying with some WD just to loosen everything, and I've been able to undo the top and the bottom clips, but I couldn't get the hose physically off. But I have been able to turn it 360 and check it and clean it, and there's no splits or holes in it. So yeah, I think it was the bottom hose clip being not tightened properly that's allowed this water build up when it's been in the tube to leak onto the tank. So I've spent about an hour messing about. I've been spraying it, unloosening it, tightening it, unloosening it, spray it, just to work the penetrating oil into the thread, and it's done. So I know now that I'm not going to get any more water leaking, A, because I've got my water alarm, which means I will never overfill the tank, but secondly, even if I forgot that the alarm in there, the water, if it was in that hose, will stay between the hose and the tank, because the bottom hose clip is now really tight. And just a top tip, if like me you're doing that kind of a job and you're working under the superstructure of your bulkhead, so all those timbers in the way, and you can get to see the clip but you can't get your screwdriver, or it's not quite long enough to stick out from the superstructure, I ended up with just a small amount of screwdriver. Well, you can't get a good grip on it. So top tip, chances are you already know this, but I'll tell you anyway. Once you've got your screwdriver located, and I could get my hand in and get it nicely located into the Jubilee clip, I'd only got maybe that much sticking out, so it's difficult. But of course, there's a hole. So all you do, you get your second screwdriver, drop it in, and whilst you're holding that end into the screw, use that to turn your screwdriver and put the leverage on that you're going to need to do the job. Because I had pieces of wood above and below in about that much gap, so when the screwdriver was in there, I couldn't get my hand in to get it nice and tight. And I know I've got sockets, and a Jubilee clip has like a socket head on it as well as a split for the screwdriver, but they're all in the engine room, and I just couldn't be bothered to go in there and set up a ratchet with long reach spars and the right end. So yeah, top tip, remember there's a reason why there's a hole in the end of your screwdriver. It's not just to hang it on a peg. Put your other screwdriver in it, and even if you can reach and you say face down onto a Jubilee clip, it's good because it gives you that extra bit of a turn when you hand tighten it and you can't go any more. If you put a screwdriver in, you'll get that extra little bit of turn. Don't overdo it because you don't want to snap anything, but it just gives you that peace of mind that you've got it as tight as it can be. So I'll share that with you. So now it's just a case of leaving the water tank area just to finish drying. It's 95% of its way there already. I'm going to leave it for another week and then I'll put the bulkhead back. So Misty's been practicing her words for the last 2 weeks for a new section of what's not going to be in every week, but we're going to drop it in the vlog depending on you guys from time to time. So I'm going to go and put the kettle on, and Misty, she's going to introduce the next bit.
Put it in the box, put it in the box. If you've got a good idea, let's put it in the box.
And welcome to Put It In The Box. And as the title suggests, I want some ideas of what to put in my imaginary box. It's, what is it now? It's February, so I'm only literally 4 months away from retiring. This next year I'm blacking freedom, and I'm hoping to go and do my helmsman course, and I'm hoping to get out onto some of the water local to Mercia on practice days, moored up for 3 or 4 days just practicing. Now then I'm going to plan for the following summer to do the trip to Liverpool, and it's got me thinking. You know, I'm getting to grips with the boat, I'm understanding how she's been put together, I understand how to fix a lot of the little things that's come to light, nothing major, but it gets you involved. But then I'm thinking, well, when I'm out on the water on my own with Misty, what happens if I get stuck for something? So I want suggestions for things to put in my, for now it's an imaginary box, but I will get a box to put these things in. It can be anything. Not cider, because that was the first on my list. Not dog food, that was the second on my list. But things you would think would be handy to store away in a storage box with a lid on it either in my electric cupboard or under the bed or in the engine room, items that you may not automatically think you ought to have. And again, I don't mean life jackets and windlasses and things like that, but to get you out of a sticky situation. So to kick it off, and it's not going to happen every week, it depends if you send any suggestions in, and if you don't, well then it'll be down to when I do get an idea of something to put in the box. But when I had all this issue with the water leakage and I couldn't get the bulkhead panel out, I decided that I knew there was a water pipe joint behind the panel. Now since I've actually got this panel out so I could physically get to it, but at the time I decided to buy one of these, an endoscope, and I bought it from the Smiley Face company. I'm not doing a review on it, I use my own money, I haven't been sent it for free, but I just think this is a handy thing to put it in the box. Now you can buy endoscopes off of the Fleabay and places like that where you get a cable that sticks into your phone. I didn't want to do that in case you have to use an app or you have to connect through the Wi-Fi or whatever. Just in case, it'd be my luck, I'd be somewhere where I couldn't get a signal. But there you've got it. That little light surrounds a camera, and I don't know if you can see, but you can actually see, look, everything's moving on the screen. And what a fantastic little bit of kit. If you've got a situation in an engine and you need to get down to see if there's a nut come off the back of a bracket and you can't physically see, use your endoscope because you can pop it down. If you've got or you think you've got a problem in some pipe work, if it's either you can poke it through a hole or you can stick it onto a stick and put the stick through the hole, say you want to look into the bottom of your water tank because it is waterproof. It takes an SD card so you can video it, what you find. You can take photographs of what you find, and then obviously you can send them via your laptop or whatever to an engineer if you're trying to describe a problem. So it was, let me tell you, because I like people to know what things cost, this was just shy of £40, and it's one of them items, the chances are I'm never going to need it until the day I need it, and then I'll be smiling and thinking I put it in the box. Now, I'm only going to show you two things because I don't want to flood you. I went into Lidl. I haven't been into a Lidl for years. And I went into Lidl and I love that aisle down the middle where you buy things you didn't know you ever wanted. And a couple of weeks ago, they had these on offer. Now, I'm sure you'll get them off the Smiley Face company and lots of other places. And I thought, it was £3.95. And you've already seen part of it because I've used it on when I was making my water alarm detector. What you get for your £3.95 is two tools. One, telescopic torch. Also got a magnet on. It's got a flexible head so you can see around corners. You can get right up behind things to see what you're doing. Again, how handy is that if you're working on the engine and you drop a nut or a bolt and it gets into one of them crooks and crannies where you can't get at it? Small magnet on the end with the lights you can actually see, and if you struggle to see where you've dropped it, the other part of the kit is a mirror, again on a fully telescopic, twizzles in every flipping direction, and I just thought £3.95. Now the day will come when I'm struggling and I'll remember I put it in the box. So this is where I want your help. There's going to be things that I haven't thought about. Somebody said to me the other day, have you got a first aid kit? Well, no, I haven't. So I'm going to put it on the list. So over the next few weeks, when I do a put it in the box feature, it's because either I found something that I think is worth putting away. I'm not going to put away things at the moment that's got usage dates on. You know, somebody I was talking to said, have you thought about putting the boxed milk? I don't know what it is, but it stays in the box. You don't have to have it in the fridge. Personally, it doesn't appeal to me, but when I'm on the water, it's got to be worth having half a dozen boxes put into the cool area of me, in the well deck or in the hatch, in my inspection hatch where I normally keep a cider. Keep it there, out the way, in case I find them moored up somewhere and I can't get any milk. It's ideas like that. Not necessarily got to be big ideas. It could be really small, insignificant things that you don't think about until you need it. So I'm hoping you're going to enjoy it, and I'm hoping you're going to participate. As I say, the endoscope, shy of £40, bit bigger investment, but I think that'll come in handy the day I do need to use one. £3.95. When it's under a fiver, it's just worth putting it in the box. And I will eventually split the box up into things like tools, which will go into the engine room, things like, you know, that I'm going to use inside the boat, emergency repair items, anything that you can suggest. Put it in your comments below. When I mention what it is and I've found it and I've bought it, I'll give you a mention. And together, let's make sure that when I go out on that water, I've got everything I'm going to need. There you go. Now try and get Misty's singing out of your head.
Put it in the box. Put it in the box. If you've got a good idea, let's put it in the box.
Well, that's it. Another vlog done. I hope you found it of interest, and thank you for joining me on the journey of solving why I got water under the floor. To be honest with you, I never actually really believed in my heart of hearts it was condensation, but I was being swayed by a lot of people who live on the marina who actually do suffer water under the floor. Mine is now bone dry, so if it was condensation, it wouldn't just suddenly stop, you know. It was the water tank issue. So until next week, all I'll need to say is thank you for watching, thank you for supporting the channel. If you've just found us by mistake and you found this one interesting, please do give us a thumbs up. If you've got comments, please put them in the box below. I read all your comments. I really do, and I find them really enlightening. Sometimes I don't always agree with what you say, but I find them enlightening, and I will answer them, I promise you. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It does help me grow the channel, and do remember to press the notification bell. Subscription's free, you don't get charged anything. Notification bell will let you know every time a new vlog comes out, and then you'll not miss anything. So until next week, all that remains for me to say is, from Misty and me, stay safe, look after yourselves, cheers.